Let me tell you of the days of high adventure.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm John.
And I'm Kevin.
And this is 6 Degrees of Schwarzenegger, the podcast where we take a long, hard look at some of our favorite action movies from the era of Arnold.
Schwarzenegger is the icon of the genre, and we're taking a deep dive into some of these 80s and 90s cult action movies and breaking them all the way down.
Brother to brother. Brother to brother. One to another. Like no other. Brother to brother. Brother to brother. Never knew you existed.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
How you doing, John?
I'm doing all right, buddy. How are you doing?
I am excellent. We just threw back a shot of tequila.
Oh, yeah, we did. I feel the hair growing on my chest. Just sprouting.
It's excellent. So, since we've recorded,
Right.
I've done a little bit more research, a little bit more looking around.
Okay.
I want to tell you something that I found out. Because I tracked down the original, I guess, screenplay to the film.
Ooh, I'm intrigued.
Because we had been talking about when Webster had Al trussed up in the bottom of the toll booth, and like we were debating, did he live or did he kill him?
Right.
And I went to the script to see, like, oh, maybe it sheds some light. So in the script, Webster comes to Al at Al's house and has got Al and his wife hostage.
Okay.
And it turns out that the woman that Vincent was banging in the very first scene that we saw him was Al's wife.
What?
That's freaking weird.
God, what a very complex screenplay. I mean, I guess it's not super complex. It would make sense, but man, it would very much sour the relationship between
So it seemed like
Al and Vincent.
it makes Vincent that much more hard to like.
Yeah, but then I guess it would also, like, if Al was somehow on the up and up about like what was, like, if he was wise to what was in the back of that caddy, if it was like a special order, and he was like trying to fix it so that Vincent took it as like payback for boning his wife.
I do think it seemed like in the screenplay he sort of gave up Vincent because he had sort of figured out that Vincent was betting his wife.
Right.
So that's what happened. And in the screenplay, he left them alive.
Right.
Webster left both Al and wife living. So for whatever it's worth.
I like the thought of a world where Al is still alive and still working at the parking deck at LAX.
Another thing I've been thinking about.
Yeah.
So Vincent, when Julius showed up at Vincent's office and saved him from the Klane,
Right.
and then we thought he might ditch him again, but he took him with him, and we're like, oh, okay, he's taking him with him.
Right.
But he knew he was going straight to steal a car.
Yeah.
So, like, he just took this dude to make him an accomplice, an accessory. Like, and it takes a little bit of the niceness of the moment away, because I feel like he just needed someone else to drive his car back. Like, it wasn't so much that he loved Julius all of a sudden. It was like, you know what? I'm going to go steal this car. This guy could come in handy. He knows he's good with his hands.
Yeah.
He can fight.
Definitely. Yeah, I definitely
It's shady.
think that, well, I mean, it's the thing that you immediately take from the character of Vincent is that he knows all the angles, or he thinks he knows all the angles.
He's a move or two ahead at all times.
Yeah, so he's looking at Julius and being like, you know what? He's sort of oblivious. Seems like a nice enough guy. I can definitely trust him at this point because he's been whipping ass in my name.
Yes, he can help me steal this car in some fashion. Also, I gotta say, why is Vincent / DeVito so fucking New Yorky or New Jersey?
That's also a great question.
I mean, is that just me, or does DeVito read that way to you always? Does he have an accent?
He always, well, especially in this, I think that he always comes across as a little bit like a New York Italian.
I looked him up. He's from New Jersey. He's from like Asbury Park.
Okay.
On the shore.
Oh, that's my friend Scott's from Asbury Park.
Yeah.
New
So,
Jersey.
but to me, I don't know if he even has an accent. He just seems like a New Yorkie dude.
I think that it's probably.
Are there dudes like in California that are like that who have been in California their whole life?
I don't know, but I think it's probably a conscious choice because it makes him sound more streetwise.
Yeah.
It makes him sound like, oh my gosh, he's sort of slippery, sort of.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's just some things I've been thinking about since the last time we recorded.
I like that. I guess we should probably get caught up on like what happened in the last episode.
Bring us up to speed.
The last time that we talked, reunited fraternal twins Julius and Vincent were getting reacquainted. Julius decided he was going to light out for a two-way marathon to find one of their lab dads, who tells him about Traven, one of the scientists that was on the project, who can give them more info about their background.
It's
and
like
maybe
Werner's counterpart or something.
He's in Los Alamos. Meanwhile, Vincent, as he's tooling around town for whatever unknown reason in that Cadillac, finds a strange contraption in the trunk and a recording saying that he should take the car to a Mr. Beetroot McKinley in Houston. When he calls this guy, he agrees to deliver the car for $5 million. As Vincent's about to blow town, Julius, Marnie, and Linda all show up at the house, and a fun road trip ensues.
Yeah.
And they reach Santa Fe, where Julius and Vincent roll up into Los Alamos and visit with Traven, and the story's about to just pick up.
That's absolutely right. So Traven takes them down into the basement laboratory that we saw in the very, very opening of the film.
Doesn't it it's sort of reminiscent of the basement at the end of Commando? It's like, I just wish it all happened in the same universe.
I've also been thinking about that. Your theory that Matrix could be like another clone of Julius.
I love that.
I love the thought of like, what if what if Dutch from Predator was also a clone? These sort of like elite military Schwarzeneggers. What if they were all in one universe and they were clones?
Kevin, this is a screenplay that's just dying to be written.
I love that shit.
It really is, though. It's like where all of these people existed in the same universe.
The technology exists to put them all on screen at the same time.
We have to. Dude, that's a movie that's like... That shit would make $1 billion.
I would love it, dude. I would love it.
All right, that's after this episode.
Okay.
We're going to write that screenplay.
So, Traven basically tells them the lab's been sealed since the day after they were born.
Okay.
Without it's pretty clean in there, so at least they cleaned up the mess.
At least they wiped it down.
We'll put some Lysol on that. So another question then that came up. So Vincent was born here in this lab in a basement in New Mexico. How did he wind up in an orphanage in Los Angeles, like the same town where his biological mom was also living? Why would they not put him in a New Mexico orphanage?
It all seems
or in a dumpster.
To me, it would seem, I don't know. It's like a New Mexico orphanage would be kind of great, but yeah, it's like there's something that wasn't explored. At least it wasn't explored in the movie, but I think maybe it was thought about in the writing process.
I wonder if
we want to drop him off in a terrible environment and just observe, but then they forgot to observe.
I found myself wondering if, perhaps Werner took Julius and Traven took Vincent, and Traven, after, 6 months, is like,
fuck this.
I'm dumping this kid. But I still don't know why it would be. Let me take him to the town where his mother lives and dump him there.
Maybe I don't know, because I don't.
It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Any idea? I don't have any clue.
Okay. Well, this old laboratory is filled with a bunch of antiquated medical equipment,
pristinely clean medical,
glass IV bottles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Traven says, Julius was born first. We weren't expecting you.
I love you motion over his shoulder.
We were expecting him.
Fuck.
Yeah. Again, how could they not know that she was carrying twins?
I don't know. The greatest medical minds of the time would have known.
So I looked around a little bit. Ultrasound wasn't invented until 1956. So it wasn't around.
Okay.
But from my research, it does seem as though it should have been something that it was possible to know.
Yeah.
for it to have been, I mean, it did come as a surprise sometimes back then, but this would have been like the most closely studied pregnancy in the history of the world.
To think that there wouldn't have at least been the best trained midwife on the planet there to feel and be like, yeah, oh yeah, there are two babies in there.
They would be able to, even in that day, they would hear two heartbeats, two different heartbeats, or they would take x-rays and you would see two fetuses in there.
Two skeletons.
It's just, Also, I guess Marianne was unconscious during the delivery because she doesn't seem to know there were two.
That's a great point.
Maybe they put her under and it was a C-section. I don't know, but
that's an interesting thought.
She doesn't seem to have been awake for the delivery. They wouldn't have
wanted her to be awake for the delivery.
They would not have?
No.
So then they could tell her anything they wanted?
Yeah.
Do you think they were always planning to tell her that the kid died?
Yeah, which is, again, it's like, why? Just for the sake of what was the point?
Well, they wanted to raise the kids. They didn't want her raising the kid, I guess.
Because attachment to, a mother?
Well, they just wanted full control.
It's so weird. It becomes more diabolical the more we talk about it. It's like...
These scientists were ruthless.
Yeah, it's a ruthless plot.
So, Vincent's looking around. He goes up to whatever that device is. He's like, I guess this is where you made the milkshake.
Traven absolutely jumps on his ass.
We weren't making a milkshake.
We were making the most fully developed human the world has ever seen.
And then Vincent is like looking Mr. Brightside. He says, instead of one perfect kid, Mom had the two of us. Way to go, Mom. And again, Traven, just brutal. Wrong. The embryo did split in two, but it didn't split equally. All of the purity of the strength went into Julius, and all the crap that was left over went into what you see in the mirror every morning.
All right, well, let's just pause. Let's hit the pause button right there. There's no way that they could know that things like strength or purity went into a child.
They could maybe... I don't even know how advanced genetic study was back then, like to look at how much of the qualities of the dads...
Are we just talking about genetic purity and strength? Like,
I don't know, man.
Genes were very strong?
It's pretty... This is the blonde-haired, blue-eyed ones, so...
It's so fucked up. It's so wild.
Also, the words he's using are all wrong. I did research. So, the stages of pregnancy are first the fertilized egg is a zygote. Then it becomes an embryo later. Then it becomes a fetus. I don't know exactly how it works. But what I do know is that an embryo can't split.
Right.
A zygote can
splits.
split. But if a zygote splits, then it's going to be identical twins.
Right.
If to have fraternal twins, am I saying that right? Fraternal is non-identical?
Yep.
Then it's two different eggs and two different sperms.
Right.
So there'd be two zygotes, not one that's split.
These guys are morons.
He should know this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know how that happens, except that it was written by someone who did do the research.
It's bad writing.
We get the point, I guess, but...
Yeah. Or do you think that like him saying the zygote sounds less impressive it sounds less...
People are like, what's a zygote?
What the fuck's a zygote?
That's true.
And I can see that.
I can
people
see that.
Like, huh?
I can see it.
Yeah, people know what an embryo is.
But it's beyond harsh.
Yeah.
Beyond harsh. Vincent is understandably, he's like hurt by this.
Yeah.
He wants to hear more.
Yeah,
he's a glutton for punishment. He's like, I'm a side effect?
You're telling me I'm the leftover crap?
I'm the leftover crap that I'm no good?
Oh, it's so sad.
Yeah, Traven tells him, again, Traven, heartless. He's like, you're not smart enough to understand this, and I don't have the time to explain
and
it.
I'm just wondering, from a purely clinical standpoint, that a lot of technically minded people, like doctors and stuff, they only think in terms of, this is the dictionary definition. This is the medical definition.
Yeah.
And it would never occur to someone like Traven to have a bedside manner, perhaps.
Well, I was also thinking, because I can't understand how he's this cold-blooded. He's got no remorse. He doesn't feel bad about putting Vincent in an orphanage or anything. It doesn't seem.
But how would he know he's not smart enough?
Yeah, he doesn't know. He dumped him he couldn't even speak yet. We feel. Do you think he's bitter because Werner got to go off and work with Julius and he got stuck with Vincent, or nothing at all? Or
Werner got all that Nazi gold to fund the project?
I don't know. He's
it's just
I'm stuck here in the basement, and Werner's off in Fiji or whatever.
I'm stuck in the desert in the U.S., and Werner gets to go to Fiji. Yeah, I don't know why he's so bitter and hateful toward... But because he
seems to hate Vincent.
Is he mad because he ruined the experiment, because he was a flaw in the experiment?
I bet you that's it. He's like... Yeah, that's my guess, is that somehow Vincent was like he gummed up the works.
Like, you weren't supposed to happen, and you fucked up what we were working to achieve.
Maybe it was like, maybe that's what happened, is there were two twins? Oh shit, we got to pull the plug on this whole thing.
Another thing is, like, had he made a bet with someone that the embryo or zygote wouldn't split, and he lost, and he was fucking pissed, it cost him like a year's
bitter the rest of his life.
I don't even know.
But Traven goes to leave. Julius grabs him by the lapels. Hey, dickhead. Tell us where our mother is. I love it.
I love that the actor playing Traven gives a like so freaked out that he's like, it takes him like a second to, like, he has to shake himself into consciousness to remember where. He's like, Whispering Pines. It's an artist colony north of Santa Fe.
I think about someone the size of Schwarzenegger grabbing you would be scary,
especially if you're Traven size, who's not much bigger than DeVito.
No. Maybe Traven mixed a little bit of himself in the milkshake.
Well, that's the thing, is that I remember as a kid watching this movie and thinking that there were similarities between Schwarzenegger and Granger, Schwarzenegger and Werner, you know,
he's like the tall German,
and that then there were similarities between Traven and DeVito, and it made me wonder. Even as a kid, I was like, is he like why is he so mad? But it's like, but they were the ones that resembled each other.
Yeah,
and I was like,
maybe he's bitter. He's got like that complex of whatever.
Yeah, it's like,
I feel inferior, so someone who's physically similar to me is inferior.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
It's interesting. Yeah. So anyway, Whispering Pines, north of Santa Fe.
Yeah, he tells him she's at Whispering Pines. It's an artist colony. Julius says, "If you're lying to me, I'll be back."
Naturally.
That's
what you say.
So Schwarzenegger has said some variation of that line in all 5 of the Terminator movies he's been in.
Yep.
And also in 10 other movies that he's done, like including this one.
Every movie
some
we've
variation.
Talked about.
It's like, you got to work that in.
John, I'll be waiting, John.
Vincent, completely understandably, is just destroyed by this revelation.
Can you imagine walking into a room with a stranger that you'd never met that was just like, you're an accident and you're a worthless piece of shit, and you're not
crap.
You're not even worth me explaining to you why you're worthless.
It's unbelievable. So Julius guides him out of the room, because he's like in a daze. So now they're out in the parking lot. Vincent has regained the ability to speak. He just says, "My life just got flushed down the toilet. I'm genetic garbage." It's like, imagine that. Like, I feel like most people have been at that point at one point in their life where you just feel like your life got flushed down the toilet, and it's fucking rough.
Yeah, or like you live with an imposter syndrome where you're just like, God, I suck. I can't do anything right. But then to be flat out told
you're worthless.
You're not even meant to be alive.
Yeah, it's bizarre. And like, you're the crap that's left over from a good person.
You're the dryer lint, my friend.
Julius, he tries to uplift him. He says that we're twins. We're basically the same.
Aww.
He's really trying hard.
Julius.
Vincent points out, we don't look the same. We don't act the same. We don't talk the same. We don't dress the same. And Julius is like, I know. He's like, if we're so much the same, how come we're so goddamn different? This is a good point.
It's a great point.
And Julius is full of that wisdom.
Very pragmatic here.
He says, we had 6 dads. It's like a lot of different parts from a lot of different people.
I like that Vincent seems to at least consider this idea.
And he points out, as we mentioned, like, I was raised on an island where I was loved and cared for and nurtured, and you were you didn't have any of that. Like, you were on your own, and all you could learn was that you couldn't depend on anybody but yourself. That's like the nature versus nurture storyline that they didn't really mess with as much as they could have.
I feel like any plot hole that this movie has could have been fixed by that. But I wonder if they thought that it would make the scientists seem too cold-blooded and Nazi-ish if they were like, we're going to do an experiment.
Well, I also wonder if earlier versions of the story, like if the twins were more identical, and then the storyline is like, then it's a nature versus nurture story, that the guy with the good upbringing has the good life. It's like Us, the Jordan Peele movie, where it's like, if we swapped out as kids, I could be the one that's got my shit together, and you're like the jailbird or whatever.
I love the little bit of dialogue here. It's like, you see, Vincent, you're the missing part of my life, and I'm the missing part of your life. And when we find Mama, we can feel the missing part of hers. We won't be alone anymore. We can be a family.
It's so sweet.
It's so sweet.
That inspires Vincent, who goes like full Oscar mode. He's like, like with a Christmas tree and Thanksgiving dinner, and he's like, yeah. All the fun family stuff that he's probably never had his whole life.
Oh, it's great. That moment together is very, very awesome.
So I found myself as I was watching this scene and as Schwarzenegger's playing it out in the Born to be Bad t-shirt. Like, I was just wondering how many of those t-shirts they must have had on set. Probably a shit ton.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think we ever talked about this, that the plan B for this movie was basically if Schwarzenegger and DeVito passed on this, then it was going to be Hulk Hogan and Christopher Lloyd playing the parts in this movie. Like, that was if Schwarzenegger and DeVito had wanted to go do Suburban Commando.
So, yeah, we talked about this before. So, that was the trade-off, right? It was like
which one of these do you guys want to do? And the other, whichever one you don't want to do is going to be Hulk Hogan and Christopher Lloyd. And I can't imagine Hulk Hogan trying to play this scene.
I can't either, at all.
I've never seen him show any type of range. I mean, I haven't seen all of his movies or whatever, but I've never seen him play anything other than a one note like Thunder Lips from Rocky 3.
Same.
I just can't imagine him like consoling someone.
No.
I don't know.
Not in any believable fashion. Yeah.
Also, it's just weird the way Hollywood works out. Like, I wonder if this movie would have been garbage and Suburban Commando would have been really good. You know, because of the casting, and if they had the right director and, you know, writers come in and rewrite it or however that shit works. I think Suburban Commando didn't come out for a couple years later. It's like weird how this one got fast tracked because of who was attached, and the other one goes on the shelf for a while until all the pieces come together or whatever.
It's bizarre. But I remember going to see and being excited to see Suburban Commando. And then I was just like, oh,
I don't know that I've ever seen it.
Movie kind of sucks. Even as a kid.
Probably more than kind of now.
Well, now I can think about it sucking. I think at the time I was like, well, it's fine because we got it at Blockbuster on Friday night and we ordered Domino's and everything fucks on a Friday night when you got
we got pizza, man. It doesn't matter.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome, dude. So now, cut to, we're back in the Santa Fe, like it seems like the historic district.
Yeah, what a great town.
Vincent's taking Julius to get some new clothes before they go to find Marianne.
Yeah, I love that. I'm not going to introduce you to my mother looking like a goat herder from Albania.
He's like, I feel fine the way I am. It's like, yeah, but you look like a. And like then the clerk comes up. I wonder what the rest of that was going to be. Why did the saleswoman just come straight to Vincent and talk directly to Vincent, not like to both of them? It was like, oh, excuse me, can I help you with something? Like,
no one knows.
It's odd. Maybe she could tell he's in charge.
Yeah. He looks in charge.
Now, this is probably like the iconic image from the film, and they come walking out in their matching suits. I was talking to...
like right out in front of the cathedral?
Yeah. I was talking to a woman the other day. She couldn't remember if she'd seen this movie or not, but she remembered the matching suits.
Yep.
She's like, they were wearing the matching suits? And I'm like, yeah. So that tells you that moment is like larger than the movie, perhaps.
Yeah, everyone remembers from the movie trailer at least seeing the two of them walking and slinging their jackets over their shoulders.
When Schwarzenegger slings it over the top of DeVito's head.
Exactly.
Beautiful. Now, Vincent's telling him, you got to loosen up a little bit, the way you walk. You ever seen Frankenstein? He's like, I read the book. Like, well, that's not going to help us. He tells him, walk like you're moving to music. He's like, oh, I like that. He just loses. It's just weird.
Did you notice just like the sheer volume of personage, just crowds, just hundreds of people walking aimlessly back and forth behind them?
I wonder if it's ever that crowded. Maybe
I'm sure it is in the summertime, but it's like still just the sheer number of people walking backwards and forwards behind in either direction, I was just like, this is distracting. Why is no one walking to the sidewalk? Like on the sidewalk?
They had the road closed or something, it seemed like. Sure. But man, DeVito and Schwarzenegger are so good together.
They are.
They really are. It's a beautiful thing. Now, back at the motel, we got Vincent is singing the Tonight's Your Night Bro song.
Tonight is your night, bro.
It's your night, bro.
Tonight is your night, bro.
Is that a real song? Or is that just made up?
I think he was
riffing?
I think he was just ad-libbing the whole thing.
That's amazing.
Tonight you're gonna get a hunter.
It's weird that they're changing back into the same clothes they were wearing earlier, but I guess they freshened up. And
that was my assumption too, is that they took off their clothes. They probably went and ate dinner.
Okay. Now, they're preparing to meet the girls for a double date. Julius is telling Vincent that all the singing's making him nervous. You're making me nervous. It's like, I've never been on a date before. I don't know what to do. It's like, I feel that way. That's me before any date.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
Absolutely. I have no idea what's going on.
Vincent says it's easy. You just talk to her, buy her drinks, dance with her. Julius reveals he's never danced with someone before either.
Yeah, it's interesting to think about it. What, 35-year-old?
Yeah. They talk about, earlier when he was like a 230-pound virgin. But I was thinking like a 35-year-old virgin, that's like pressure.
The only woman he's ever been around is that lady in the moo-moo.
Moo-moo lady. She didn't teach him the ropes.
No.
But Vincent offers to give him some pointers on how to teach him how to slow dance, teach him a little waltz. It's like a great comedy scene.
I want to know, like, where does Vincent take women that he's waltzing with them?
I do. I love all the lines are funny. He's like, grab my hand here. And he's like, He's like squeezing real hard. He's like, let the blood flow through the fingers.
I also like when he says, when I romance a girl, I waltz with her. And Schwarzenegger, who says, like Strauss, which that's a pretty decent joke, as Arnold is Austrian and Johann Strauss Jr. was the waltz king.
And like that's were his songs waltz called like the this waltz, that waltz?
There were like so many like.
Waltz must be a German or Austrian word.
Viennese, waltz.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the dance itself, but then there are like countless waltzes, and that's why Julius is immediately heartened by the idea of waltzing.
He's heard that music before.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I know, 1, 2, 3. 1,
I do like
2,
that.
3.
He's like, 1, 2, 3. Don't move your lips. Don't move your lips. Then he like starts gritting his teeth. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. He's like, no, don't grind your teeth. You're grinding your teeth.
Yeah.
He's like, just see if you can count without moving your lips.
Do you get the feeling that DeVito was like ad-libbing all of this?
It felt that way. It definitely felt that way. In the screenplay, there was a scene where they was like teaching him to dance, but I feel like the dialogue might have not been there.
It to me seems so organic, because even if, let's just picture a world which this was the case, where Arnold's not a comedic actor. He's never done this before. And then you're working alongside one of the best in the business.
And he's like saying, improvise with me.
And who better to put you at ease and to make that scene believable if you're a little stilted and... I mean, the casting in that situation is brilliant.
Well, they were playing to both of their strengths.
Yeah, big time.
It's like, you're kind of stiff. You're not known for being funny, so you can be stiff in, the square. And then don't worry, I'll talk you through it.
Oh, it's so good. It's so, the DeVito is the heart and soul of this movie.
I like when he gets him sort of dancing, serviceably. He's on, there you go. You're not wrestling a boar 300 miles southwest of Fiji. I love that shit. So now it cuts to the honky tonk where Julius, he seems to have the hang of it. He's dancing with Marnie. You got Vincent dancing with Linda there. The dance scene is fucking insane.
This is some grade A honky tonk dancing music. It's a song "I'd Die for This Dance" by Nicolette Larson and fucking Jeff Beck.
Jeff Beck on lead guitar.
It's awesome.
It is good.
I'd die for this dance.
The whole the synchronized routine they have going is blowing my mind. They're there's some groping going on. They're all choreographed. They're when they send the girls off, and then Vincent and Julius are dancing with each other. What would happen if you were there and you were witnessing this happening? Or you'd be like, "What? Who are these fucking people?"
I think that it would be like in a lot of other scenes in movies where most of the locals would be like, just sort of drinking heavily and just like either laughing or shaking their heads, being like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, they do. They're like thrusting their crotches, and then it's just weird. But you know, oh wait, and then things got like real sexy.
Yeah,
with Marnie and Julius, like the music slowed down. You got the Jeff Beck solo. I guess Julius is getting his first kiss. It seems like.
Yeah, it's probably his first kiss ever if it wasn't from Moo Moo Lady.
Yeah, unless he like snuck one in the Cadillac, but I think they would have shown it if it had happened.
Yeah, I think that this is his first kiss ever.
Now they're back at the table over beers.
How many pitchers of beer do you think they are in at this point?
It looked like maybe 3 pitchers were there. Several like glasses are around. Julius is teaching them the history of beer. You and I are having a couple of beers.
That's right. Dos Equis, Amber
you're, like,
Especial.
You're keeping it, whatever.
Well, I did it with our shot of tequila earlier.
I am sipping on one of my new favorites, Sweetwater's new hazy IPA. It's so good.
Delicious.
Yeah, check it out if you have access to that. So beer is the 3rd most consumed beverage in the world.
Okay. The 3rd most?
The 3rd most consumed beverage in the world.
All right. Wine. Okay. Water?
Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking spirit, alcohol. All right. Okay, so water.
Anything. Beverage.
Water or milk?
Tea.
Uh,
Water, tea, and then beer.
My next guess was going to be coffee. Okay.
Yeah. That makes sense. You think about the tea drinking population of the world is huge.
Most of Africa,
India, China.
China, yeah.
Crazy. And
all of
everywhere else, everyone's got it figured out. Tea is where it's at.
Yep.
So they're very impressed with Julius's beer knowledge. He's teaching them about how like the Egyptians and the Middle East, like, you know, they invented the fermentation process and all this stuff.
I love he knows a lot about everything. She's into it.
Yeah. So Julius is like lamenting the fact that he's like, you know, I never had a beer before tonight. He's like, it's the story of my life. It's all theory, no practice. And then Vincent is just like, well, we're going to change all that, aren't we, Marnie? Like, just implying, like, you guys are boning tonight.
Marnie's like, yep.
That's a weird dynamic where everyone at the table knows these two are fucking later.
Yeah, we're going to fuck. It's going to be fine.
They know it's going down. So, this is weird. Julius asked Marnie, am I shit-faced yet? When that cracks everyone up.
Yeah.
The table's like laughing their ass off.
Yeah. Nothing's ever been funny. Just to hear Julius say shit probably cracked him up.
True. So Vincent says, you know, I got to go. My back teeth are floating, which is a gross way to think about that.
My mouth is full of urine.
Just urine's backed all the way up.
I've got to pee so bad I've got piss in my mouth.
He heads off to the bathroom. Julius is like, I got to go check if my back teeth are floating. It follows him.
Gross.
Now we're in the bathroom. There's like the more synchronized action, synchronized urination.
Yeah.
It's weird. Julius is drunk. Like
all of their conversation's so adorable though, and like the pissing in the bathroom.
He's like, I don't know if Marnie really likes me.
Yeah,
it's like,
clearly does.
She is like one step away from fucking you at the table. But yeah, Vincent points out she clearly does.
Yeah.
So Vincent's like, you know, you're just nervous because it's your first time. Perfectly natural.
What if your first time was going to be with Kelly Preston?
It wouldn't last long. I don't think it would last long. But it'd be like 40-year-old virgin action. It'd be like 2 minutes later, like you're ready to go.
And then you're going to do Age of Aquarius.
Yes, indeed. So, Julius asked Vincent, were you nervous your first time? It's like, you kidding? I was 12 years old, and she was a nun. Talk about pressure.
I love that. I love the way that joke paid off. Like,
yikes!
40 minutes later, that's awesome. That's good writing.
It is also just like disturbing.
Well,
a number
being
of
a nun
levels.
or a priest is hard.
Yeah, it's not for everyone.
Yeah, I love all the synchronized like washing and drying of hands and shit.
Right
during the scene.
So I also love the moment where Vincent opens up to him. You know, because he's been kind of like playing it close to the vest. But he says, you know, ever since you've come into my life, things have just been getting better and better. And Julia says, I feel the same way. It's
you ever poured your heart out in the men's room?
I don't think I've done it in the men's room. No.
Maybe in
You?
the hallway outside. I don't think it's ever been in the men's room. No.
Yeah, you got a lot of beer flowing, and like it lends itself to that, but not
there are
in
all
the
kinds
bathroom.
of smells and other things, and
You don't want to linger in the bathroom.
No, prying ears. Yeah.
I do like. Julius says, I feel the same way. He scoops him up and he's like, I just want to hug you and love you, love you, love you. And the very disturbed Native American patron walks in, just giving him the look. He's like, he's my brother.
Okay.
Yeah, right. So now, Linda and Marnie are back out at the table. We see the Klanes come walking into the bar.
Oh, fuck.
Linda asked Marnie if she told anyone where they were going. And Marnie says, yeah, I told our boss. He's like, oh, by the way,
we're
fired.
Whoops.
She's like, uh-oh. He's like, oh, you hated that job or whatever. It is fucking weird that the boss would tell some strangers that came in where to find them. They're going to Santa Fe.
Also, Santa Fe's not a small town.
You think we're just
So
going bar to bar?
Were the Klanes just like looking in every bar in Santa Fe that night?
I gather that's probably what was happening.
Wow.
But would they go all the way to New Mexico over this?
That's a lot of hard work to shake someone down and or kill someone.
You're
Why
leaving
wouldn't you
don't you have other business stuff going on back in LA?
I guess maybe
I don't know.
if they stopped by his house and they'd gotten shot up by Webster,
right.
they'd have
that
extra,
made it personal.
But it's still like, Jesus.
That's a long way to go.
But especially if two of your boys are shot up. Why
they're on crutches.
It's like we definitely should do this now instead of waiting. Anyway,
the Klanes approach. They say it's nice of your boss to tell us where we could find you. And then two of the three, like they corner the sisters there in the booth.
Yeah, Bert and Bob trapped the sisters in the booth.
Now Vincent and Julius return. The Klanes tell Vincent they don't like being shot, and he's it comes as a surprise. A shot? Who shot you?
Yeah.
And then Julius wants to know what it is. What do you want? He's like, we want to take Vincent outside and kill him. That's
a problem.
Okay. The third Klane grabs Vincent.
That's Morris again.
Okay. I do like Julius grabs Morris then, so don't touch him. And the leader pulls a gun out and presses it into Marnie's ribs. This is... Julius goes sort of like into a trance.
Yeah.
He says, you've forgotten the second rule in a crisis situation.
You moved too soon.
You moved too soon. The second rule in a crisis situation. If you choose to bluff, you must be prepared to have your bluff called.
I like that Morris recognizes this. It's like the same kind of crazy shit
He's
Julius
starting that
was
funny
saying.
talk again.
That funny talk again.
He's like, this is no bluff. Sure it is. Right? He's not going to shoot Marnie in the middle of a crowded bar.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay. That's just my thing. But yeah, he says it's not a bluff. Then a couple of more gigantic dudes step out and grab Julius.
And these are some favorites. Sven Ole Thorson and Gus Rethswich.
A.K.A. Buzzsaw.
Fresh off doing Running Man with Arnie.
I know. I love that, like, Sven is his boy. And then, he must have liked... Well, it's not easy to find guys that are bigger than Schwarzenegger.
Right.
So I guess
more imposing, like standing on either side of him.
Who could be 6'4" and have 40 pounds on him? There's not a lot of those dudes around.
But still, there's that element that it's like, as Arnold's picking his way through Hollywood, he's like learning the names of people he knows and trusts, and it's like, I've spent time on screen with this person, and we got along really well.
I like that.
It humanizes them.
So Julius, he like kicks into action. He disables 4 of them in the blink of an eye.
It's amazing.
It is fucking badass. Vincent, he delivers an elbow to the gut of Morris. He grabs the guitar and just busts it over Morris's head. The patrons in the bar love it. The band also seems okay with it.
Yeah, this is fine.
You just fucked up our guitars at a Gibson. It's a fucking Martin.
Jesus.
No, they're cool with it.
Assault, carnage.
Yeah.
I love the line Julius to Vincent. I love it when you hit people.
Nice little callback.
Yeah, to earlier in the movie.
The twins and the girls, they get the hell out of there.
That's right.
People are just like dancing around the laid out Klanes.
Movies are weird. No one's calling the cops.
Totally.
This is not Roadhouse, where there would have been a stop to that fight pretty quickly.
Now, back at the motel, Julius is like setting up his little bed on the floor.
Right.
I feel like he's reminiscing about like what a great day it's been.
He's like a child in that regard. He's like, we went to the zoo and we went to the store and we got some ice cream.
He's like,
and
we
did this
visited our
fun stuff."
birthplace and we bought new clothes, then we danced the waltz, and we got in a fight.
It's so good.
He's like, I'll tell you, life just doesn't get any better than this. And Vince is like, oh, yes, it does.
Wow.
Vincent's like, he's setting up a little romantic mood in the room,
yeah, there's
too.
a bottle of wine here, a good bottle of wine, he assures him.
Yeah. So, yeah, Vincent says he's going to go tuck Linda in and read her a bedtime story. Don't wait up for me.
Hot.
Vincent leaves. He's singing This Your Night, Bro.
Tonight is your night, bro. It's your night, bro.
Seconds later, there's a knock on the door.
Right.
Julius is like, oh, Vincent, you locked yourself out.
Oh, what a knucklehead.
He is very surprised to see Marnie, not Vincent, at the door.
Ship.
You got to feel like this was orchestrated with the knowledge of everyone except for Julius.
That's when I like. Did Marnie say to Vincent, like, "I need you to make your not that it would have need to be like we didn't need to have this conversation, but I want to bone him. So can you please?
I'm going to deflower him tonight.
Oh my! Was that in the back of Marnie's mind this whole time? Like, I want to be his first.
She wanted to pop his cherry.
Yeah, but it's like she has to. It's like I don't know. I don't know if things are different from when you're 18 or whatever until you're 35. It's like some things have to remain constant, and that is that it's not going to be impressive.
Probably not the first time. It's going to be a disaster.
But then you and I have talked about if Julius has been born and bred and genetically engineered to be the perfect human being, is he preternaturally attuned to what women want and what good lovemaking is?
Kelly Preston offsets all of that. Like, if it was Kelly Preston offsets all of that. Nothing, no exposure to Moo Moo Ladies like can prepare you.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. I suppose that's true.
Now, back in the motel room,
Marnie
says to Julius that Vincent and Linda wanted to be alone, so I guess I got to sleep here tonight.
No.
She asks which bed she should take. You know, he says, oh, either one's fine because I'm going to be on the floor. Then she sort of just puts it on him. Like, she presses up on him and kisses him. And then I fucking love it when a girl takes charge. I gotta say. But he awkwardly, like, slips past her and is like, oh, well, there's this awkward good night. She's like, yeah, she strips down to her little silky nightie.
So she's, like, walking around outside. And not a lot.
Not a lot. It's cold in the desert at night.
Yeah.
Anyway. Julius, I feel like, is looking at her in the mirror. It's a little payback to that earlier scene.
And flexing his pecs.
Yeah. She strikes a pose on the bed and gets his attention by telling him good night.
Pose?
We talked earlier about what's the best a person has ever looked on film. And this might be the moment.
Her in the Cadillac earlier in the movie or this moment is like, what is happening?
10-year-old Kevin, or however old I was when I was checking this out on HBO, I didn't understand why this made me feel some feelings. I didn't know what it was, but this was like it.
Millennia of human preservation were
every instinct in my body was telling me
alive in you.
I like this. I don't know why I like this.
I need to perpetuate the species.
I like this. Visually, I like this.
I love that she says, Julius.
Good night.
Good night.
Yeah, she's like, again, he's just poor, awkward, hopeless Julius. Is like, good night, and plops down. And, like, they're both just clearly frustrated. Julius is laying on there on the floor. I feel like he, like, smothers himself on a pillow.
He pulls the pillow over his head.
Marnie is, like, in bed just waiting for whatever is supposed to happen, but it's not happening. Then she sort of takes action. Oh, no.
What's the matter?
This bed is lumpy.
It sounds like a fucking, like, this bed is lumpy.
It's like old school.
It sounds like a 30s or 40s movie star.
Or like fucking Lana Del Rey, like the way she sings on songs, just this old fashioned sort of.
It's very much an affectation. Yeah.
She's asking, do you mind if I share the floor with you? Good for Marnie.
Yeah.
So she plops down there, they kiss, and then it's just on.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, what do I do now? She's like,
we'll figure it out. She knows what's up.
He has to know the mechanics, right? Even if it's from books.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that he
knows where it goes.
He is a gentleman, though. He doesn't know. He doesn't know.
He doesn't want to presume.
Like he has no experience with consent. With like he says, he has the utmost respect for women, and so he wouldn't just charge in. I appreciate the fact that he'd be like, he's probably waiting for cues from her to be comfortable and stuff like that, and she's like, "We got this."
He's also like he's a fucking beast.
Yeah,
he's probably like, I don't want to just destroy you without knowing that you're into it. I will
literally smush you under my weight.
So, over in Vincent and Linda's room, Vincent gets some late night workout in.
All you have to do is some sit-ups and push-ups and some leg raises.
Yeah, he's like, I love that whole shit. His count is like, he's counting like 75, 76. It's like, I don't think that, I like Linda telling him, like, you look really good. He's like, you're right, what am I worried about?
Is Linda the best girlfriend ever?
I love that, where he's like, you're right, what am I worried about? Like, I don't know, you got it all. She is way too good for him.
She's so supportive and so out of his league.
Yeah, I've been in that situation too. I fucked it up, but
it's so just sad for like him to be thinking, what if she's disappointed in me? What if my mom's disappointed in me?
Well, he admits, right? He's nervous about it. He's like, what if she? Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah,
especially like he hasn't led the best life up till now. I mean, I guess, he's self-conscious about all that stuff. So Linda's like so encouraging. Yeah, she's the best girlfriend in history, I would say. She suggests out of
nowhere.
Maybe she was buttering him up because
she was drunk.
She suggests that they move in together when they get back to Los Angeles. And Vincent's just very, like, he gets spooked. He's like, oh, no. He's like, not. She's like, not, no. He's like, yeah, he doesn't like it. He's trying to talk her out of it. She's the best he could ever hope for.
Yeah.
I think.
Far and away.
She doesn't mind that he's kind of a dirtbag.
Right.
That he's, like, got a very promiscuous past or present, whatever.
Yeah.
But I do, maybe there's like maybe reverse psychology is like part of Vincent's game.
But I do like, she's like, I don't want to get married, and it's not that I want to keep track of you because I don't need to. I just want to live with you because I think it'd be fun. That's sweet.
I do like, he's like, do I look like someone that can play house? He's like, I'm grumpy in the morning, I'm moody in the afternoon, it's like, I'm miserable.
She's like, I know how you are.
I know how you are. Yeah. It's a sweet moment. He's like, well, look, tomorrow I'm taking my best girl to meet my mom. And she's like, your best girl? He's like, yeah, you. There's no other girls.
Not anymore.
She
that
puts
is
it back.
awesome.
She's like, good. You know why? Because I only have eyes for you.
Oh, that's
and he's like, oh, you like that song. And the music sort of, the song fades in. They're going to get down to it. Now, back in the other room, Julius and Marnie both seem quite satisfied.
Yeah. She's smoking, which is movie for that was good.
That was good, and she looked good doing it too. And smoking is like inherently not the most attractive thing to me.
I read a thing in the Times today. Daniel Kaluuya, the actor, was talking about his performance in Judas and the Black Messiah, but talking about how he wanted to be able to smoke authentically because he would watch people's performances and be like, that person's not a real smoker.
Okay.
Watching Kelly Preston, I was like, that looks real. She's comfortable smoking the cigarette.
Yeah, it wasn't her first time, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I used to be fascinated by how long the shot lingered with Arnold without him blinking. And I just looked at it earlier today because I was like, in my mind, it was like a minute. And it was 10 seconds.
Yeah.
It was literally 10 seconds.
Still,
that's not long at all.
Job.
But he is like, I mean, I know that feeling too.
Utter bliss.
Yeah, it's amazing. So that, I think, that's a good capper to this episode.
Yeah.
We'll get to all the action, the
exciting conclusion.
The exciting conclusion next week.
The splitting of the embryo,
as it were. I guess. I don't know.
All right, see you guys later.
We'll be back.